Technology. I'll be your host for the next hour or so. During this time, we'll share with you some of the highlights of the newest release of Accumark version 9.0, with functions that will not only help you perform day-to-day pattern making, grading, and marker making tasks, but will also make it easier to manage your business overall. Just one bit of housekeeping before we get started. You'll notice a chat box in the bottom right hand of your screen. We invite you to submit your questions there, and we'll answer as many as we can after the presentation. So let's dive right in. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, Gerber Technology has been in business for nearly 50 years, offering everything from computer-aided design software, PLM software, plotters and automated spreading and cutting systems to a host of industries, not the least of which is the fashion industry. Though we're headquartered in Connecticut, we serve more than 25,000 customers in 130 countries, so technical and application support is always a phone call away. Since launching Accumark 25 years ago, we've sold more than 6,000 licenses to some of the world's most well-recognized brands. But we've seen companies of all sizes benefit from the powerful time-saving functionality that Accumark offers. And with that, I'd like to get to the heart of this discussion by turning it over to our resident Accumark expert, Becky Skinner. Becky's been with Gerber for 15 years since graduating from Philadelphia University with a degree in fashion apparel management. Initially, she worked out of our Los Angeles office, hosting demonstrations and training sessions on Gerber software. For the past 3 years, she's been based in Connecticut and is a product owner for the Accumark line of software. She collaborates closely with Accumark beta testers in many companies and works to incorporate their feedback into the software. Some of you may know her as the creator of the Tip of the Day, which, just as its name says, delivers video tips to your inbox each day, showing how to use some of the most powerful tools and features in Accumark. So with that, Becky, I'll let you get to it.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Deb. As Deb said, my name is Becky Skinner, and we'll be going through all of the new features in Accumark 9.0 today. This past Monday, we released Accumark 9.0. We feel like this version is jam-packed with new features that allow you to manage with flexibility and control. I myself am very excited to show off these new features. We've been working with several beta sites around the U.S. And around the globe for the last few months and testing this software to finalize the changes. So let's dig right in. One of the most exciting changes that you'll see in this release is longer file names. I was certainly excited to start playing around with this to get a little bit more flexibility in my own file names. This feature includes storage areas, data item names like pieces and models, sizes, and even fabric codes. Updates have been made throughout the system to allow more space for these longer names. Now that I've said that, you're probably wondering how much more space you'll have. Starting with storage areas, you'll be able to use up to 20 characters to name a storage area. Any data item, including pieces and models, this also includes orders, markers, even forms, will have up to 50 characters in their names. Size name length will depend on the type of sizes that you use. For those of you using alphanumeric sizes, things like medium or extra small, you'll have up to 30 characters to name your sizes. Those of you using numeric sizes or grade rule tables that have a size step in them will be limited to 9 characters. Fabric codes, previously limited to just 1 character, are now up to 10 characters per fabric, and you can still have up to 4 fabrics per pattern piece. To be able to store all of this new information, we have a new version 9 storage area format. If you want to use the longer file names, you'll need to create new version 9 storage areas. Moving your data over is as easy as copying it from your existing V8 storage areas or V7 storage areas. For backward compatibility, we've put in a new export tool that allows you to export your data from V8 back to V9. So any pieces and models that are created in version 9 can be exported back to version 8 if you still have vendors that are using the version 8 format. Part of the export includes changing out the file names to adhere to the version 8 standards, which was a 20-character limit for the file names themselves. the minute you open Pattern Design or Easy Marking is a brand new interface for selecting commands. In previous versions, we had drop-down menus that were organized by object or the type of thing that you were selecting. Now, all your favorite commands have been reorganized into a ribbon based on a workflow. UI icons have been designed to help you locate your functions faster and be a little bit more descriptive about what's actually happening there. Throughout this presentation, you'll see these purple bubbles come up. These are comments from users who participated in our beta program. And you can see that in this comment that the user really enjoys the new interface. They found it really easy to navigate once they got a hang of it. If you're having questions about where you might find certain functions once you get onto version 9, there's a great function map in the What's New document that you can use to find your favorite commands. It has a grid of how to find functions based on where they were in 8.5.1 and in earlier versions as well. In addition to a new ribbon, you'll also see brand new tooltips designed to help explain each function. These can be accessed by hovering over a function in the ribbon. The tooltips can be really helpful when you're trying to train a new user, or if you're just trying to discover functions that you may not use frequently. This allows us to have better access and better information within the interface. Moving into the enhancements for pattern design, one of my favorites is the bookmark command. In previous versions, we began to introduce this functionality with a command called undo buffer. This option, undo buffer, allowed you to compare your current piece shape with the shape before the last change was made. You were limited to one change only, and it was just giving you a visual comparison of those changes. In version 9, we've taken that function to the next level. Each piece has an original and a user-defined bookmark stored within the same pattern piece. This allows you to store up to 3 revisions in the same piece. The bookmark information is stored with the version 9 data, so this must be stored to a version 9 storage area, and it can be viewed at any time. These bookmarks can also serve as restore points. If you need to, for design changes or just to keep up with different revision levels, you can copy your piece with the shape of the bookmark at any time. The bookmarks can be helpful to compare shapes to verify that vendors are using the correct starting pattern or to keep track of your own pattern revisions. Let's take a look in pattern design now at how we can use this bookmark function. So I'm going to open up pattern design. And immediately you're going to see our brand new user interface. So you can see all of the tabs up at the top, and they're arranged in a workflow. So all of the functions that create new items, whether it's a point, a notch, a piece, or a line, are all within the Create tab. If I move over to the Modify tab, you'll see all of the tools that you use to make modifications to your pattern pieces. And we'll be moving in and out of these tabs throughout the demonstration today. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and open a new model to bring it into my workspace. And I'm going to hold you right here for just a second so that you can observe the longer file names. So here I'm using a storage area that's definitely longer than 8 characters. And all of my data names, I have the flexibility to include lots of descriptive information in them. So no more abbreviating, lots of space to write everything in. I'll go ahead and select the model from this list and just open it into my workspace. All right, I'm just going to rearrange my pattern pieces here. Now, I want to point out, I've just brought the pieces into the workspace. I haven't done any other functions. In the background, the software has marked the original bookmark for me already. So I'm just going to go in and make a few quick pattern modifications. Since I'm in the Modify tab, I'm just going to grab the Offset command. So just making a quick length change to my pattern pieces, offsetting them 1 inch. I can also come in and grab some of my point commands and make another small change. Right. Now I would like to go ahead and compare this with the original piece. In previous versions, I would have grabbed a new copy of my piece from the icon bar and brought it into the work area. In this version, I just have to go to my View tab, where I started from, and I can tell what changes have already been applied to this piece. I'm going to go ahead and hide those 2 bookmarks. And I should mention here, even though we've changed the user interface quite a bit from drop-down menus to ribbons, I can still take advantage of all of the hotkeys that I've used in previous versions. So I just used the F4 key to zoom into this one piece that I had highlighted on my workspace. So you've still got a lot of different hotkeys to work with. On this piece, I'd like to mark this shape as a moment in time. So I'm going to go over to my Create tab, and I'm going to define a new bookmark. So you can see that the Define function is over here on the right-hand side of my Create tab. And I'll just select the piece to define that as my bookmark. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more changes. So in the Modify tab, I'm going to grab my Move Smooth command. So another tried and true, tested and true function that we use all the time. And I'll give it some values to move that point. Now for this change, I'm going to hold down Shift to control it to the X-axis. And I'll go ahead and add on a little bit to my neckline. Now after I'm done making my changes, I'd like to go back and see where I defined that bookmark so that I can observe the changes that I've made. Back to the View tab, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Defined function and select my piece again. So now you can see the two changes that I've made here on this pattern piece. At any time, I can also show the original bookmark, even though I'm already seeing the defined bookmark. So here you see that gray line is my defined bookmark. Now let's say I've decided that I want to go back to my original pattern piece. Now, if I've saved this piece and it's got a couple of days later, I don't have undo or any of those other options available to me. So right now what I'm going to do on this piece is right-click, and I'm going to choose to restore the original bookmark. This is going to make a copy of my pattern piece in the original bookmark shape. So you can see here I can compare it. I can give the piece a name, and you see you have all your standard options when you're creating a new piece, things like adding it to a model and what information should be included in the category name. I'll let the computer name that. Particular release of software was the handling of darts. In the last couple of releases, we focused on creating more options for people that work with curved or shaped darts. Adding to the toolbox that people with curved and shaped darts have, we're now allowing you to fold your curved or shaped darts in the system. So this allows you to calculate the underlay of any dart, even though it may not have that standard three-point line shape. This dart